You run down the field on a kickoff, 40 yards at full speed, and collide with another human being. It's not natural. The Lord invented pain so that you wouldn't do things like that.
We got hit in the head and we don't remember much. Le-Lo is one of those who really took it bad.
Speaking of getting knocked out.
What was my most memorable hit? Now, I had a few of those.
First game, San Diego Chargers, we're playing at Mile High Stadium. They throw me a little swing pass, so I caught it and I cut back across the blockers. So I got about 6-7 yards down the field. The linebacker from the other side was coming across and we hit helmet to helmet, okay? Well, he knocked me out. He knocked himself out. And Steve Antonopoulos comes out and he's, Sarge, you okay? Yeah. Anything hurt? No. Okay, let's get up. I said, what happened? Where are we? He said, let's go over and we'll talk about it on the sidelines. So we get up, we walk off the field. I sit down on the bench, and we're having a little conversation. Do you know where you're at? And I said, yeah, I'm at Mile High. I'm not really sure what's going on here. And he goes, well, you got knocked out. I said, okay.
Let me think about that one.
We were at Pittsburgh, and it was during the Super Bowl year we won. We went back to Pittsburgh during a playoff game, and it was against the quarterback. We called a blitz, and I was playing safety back then, and I got through the line of scrimmage untouched, and he's looking the other way, and I got him right underneath the chin. It was the best hit. I loved it. So that's one of those dream hits you always dream about, hitting the quarterback when they're not looking, and you know it's not going to be a penalty. So it's great.
Well, and I knew, having watched film and everything, they're getting ready to run a trap. And I'm like, yeah, come on, bring that trap up in here. And then I got to thinking about it a second time. Don't run the trap. Don't send Earl up here on me. And lo and behold, that center blocks down, the guard comes around on the tackle over here, and it's just me and Earl in that hole. And I lit Earl up, and he helped me get up and said, you okay? Now here, I done busted this rookie. I hit him flat, knocked him on his butt, but he's helping me get up, okay? That was Earl Campbell.
Steve Largent and I had kind of a battle going over a number of years, and there was one play in particular where I had anticipated the play actually before they ran it, just based on playing against the Seattle Seahawks for so many years and knowing their tendencies and everything. And they ran a certain play, and it was kind of what we call a post route. And I reacted to the play in a split second and actually knocked him out and broke his face mask and knocked out a few teeth and everything. So yeah, that was probably one of the hardest hits that I've ever put on somebody.
We was playing the Kansas City Chiefs and had a running back, Todd McNair. The ball was kicked out of bounds. There was a penalty or something, and we had to re-kick it. But we had a few choice words between each other, and on the second go-around, neither one of us cared about the ball. It was me against him, and it was a major collision that I probably got the worst of, since he bent my face mask and had me walking around stumbling. But it was a big hit nonetheless, and he was a little dizzy himself, but it was a major collision, and that's probably one of the biggest hits.
And I was falling, and Ronnie Locke ended up hitting me right before I fell to the ground. And it bent my back. I got up, I went back to the huddle, and I got back spasm. I think I still have problems from that hit sometimes too.
But the other is John Hannah. John Boy was a nasty player. I mean, when I say nasty, he was rough. He was a clean player, but he's a very, very hard man to play against. And after our careers, we were at a conference somewhere, and I went up to John and I said, John, just let me ask you this. Did I ever hurt you at any time? And he looked at me with that southern drawl, and he had some chew in his mouth and whatever, and he said, I'll never tell you. And I knew it right there. I got him. But John Hannah was the toughest, but I think I hurt him once.
And just about that time, Dan Reeves walks over and talks to Steve Antonopoulos. And he said, how is he? And Steve goes, I think he'll be okay. Like that. Dan said, you sure? I said, yeah. So he looks down at me and he goes, hang on to the football.